Thanks for tuning in again today. National Hispanic Heritage Month began this week and runs from September 15th to October 15th. We're a county where 1 in 5 residents are of Hispanic or Latino descent. 40% of our foreign-born population are from Latin American countries and South American countries, and many of our Latino residents have been here for generations. Others are new arrivals to our nation. But all are respected and welcomed and embraced in this county. As county executive, I'm grateful for the opportunity to continue the work in our government, and I want to acknowledge the work of former CE Ike Leggett toward creating a more inclusive and welcoming county. That includes increasing the diversity of our government so that it is more reflective of the communities we serve. There are many events celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month, including cultural celebrations and educational programming, as well as new business highlights, community conversations, and the launch of a new informative series for economic development. This past Sunday, I attended the Festival Salvadoreño. This annual celebration drew thousands of people to Montgomery County Fairgrounds. This was a great event to kick off Hispanic Heritage Month and to celebrate El Salvadoran Independence Day. I hope you join us in celebrating and honoring our Hispanic and Latino communities over the next month. Rosh Hashanah begins at sunset on Friday. This holiday marks the Jewish New Year and the beginning of the Jewish High Holy Days leading up to Yom Kippur, the Jewish Day of Atonement. The Jewish high holidays are at a time of both rejoicing and serious introspection. These holidays are a time to celebrate the completion of another year while also taking stock of one's life and a chance to reflect on how one can do better in the upcoming year. These days are the most sacred time of year for our Jewish community. Shana Tova to all who are celebrating. May the new year be filled with great health, happiness, choice, justice, and prosperity. As we're entering a season of holidays, events, and gatherings, we must also be aware and concerned about the consistent increase in our COVID cases. Our COVID cases have been increasing week after week throughout the summer to its highest level since last May. Additionally, our hospitalization numbers due to COVID have been increasing. We are over 5 times higher than we were just 2 months ago this week. These numbers are important to pay attention to and should be considered a canary in the coal mine. When hospital beds fill up with COVID patients, that impacts every other health problem that beds might be needed for. We haven't yet reached the danger point here, but we're monitoring and hoping that the cases begin to stabilize or decline. Earlier this week, the FDA approved the new COVID-19 vaccine that prevents against the strain currently circulating. And the CDC's advisory committee recommended that anyone aged 6 months and older get the new vaccine. We need everyone eligible to get the new booster that was just approved this week. As compared to most jurisdictions, our county is one of the most vaccinated in the nation. More than 95% of our county residents received at least 1 dose, but only 35% received the bivalent booster dose. The efficacy of these vaccines wanes. That's just a fact. And it's very important that everyone gets boosted when this new shot becomes available. Vaccines will start being distributed to healthcare providers and pharmacies across the U.S. in the next few days. A big difference in the rollout of this new vaccine is that insurance companies will pay for the vaccinations, and shots will be primarily available through private physicians' offices and local pharmacies. It's not going to be like the last time when we had a few centers and long lines. The vaccines will be widely available in the community. Like most other health departments, the county clinics will be for uninsured individuals only. As much attention as the new booster will receive over the coming weeks, we also want to remind you to get your flu shot. I got my flu shot this week, and I urge everyone to get the flu shot and the new COVID shot. Vaccines.gov can also direct you to available flu shots in your area. And for those of you who are 60 and older, like me, it's recommended to get the new RSV vaccine. We're entering a time of the year when we are spending more time indoors, and as the holidays approach in a couple of months, we'll all be spending a lot of time in larger group gatherings. Getting regular recommended vaccines protects you from serious illness and will help make it less likely that you'll infect a vulnerable person. Boosters can help reduce a person's viral load and the odds of transmitting the virus to someone else who may be at higher risk of complications and more serious illness from these respiratory infections. Please contact your health provider or visit vaccines.gov to search by zip code for local pharmacies offering these vaccinations and flu shots. Last fall, Montgomery County signed an MOU with the University of Maryland College Park, University of Maryland Baltimore, and the University of Maryland Medical System to create the Institute of Health Computing at the North Bethesda Metro Station. This institute will be the first graduate-level academic facility in the county. It will leverage the University of Maryland's world-renowned expertise in artificial intelligence, machine learning, virtual and augmented reality, and the clinical and research expertise of the University of Maryland Medical System and the county's leadership in the biotech industry to revolutionize healthcare delivery. Health computing and artificial intelligence are technologies that revolutionize life sciences by increasing the speed to create new drugs, analyze clinical trials, and create personalized medicine plans that will help with the diagnosis, treatment, and prevention of diseases. This new technology means that life science companies will require employees with specific high-level technology skills. The Institute for Health Computing will help attract businesses in need of talented employees trained in the latest state-of-the-art techniques and practices. The work of this new institute also can be applied in other ways and into other industries like hospitality or retail or security that all rely on the utilization of big data. This project is a game changer for our local economy, and I look forward to the progress we're making. Earlier this week, the University of Maryland Board of Regents Finance Committee took the next step forward in establishing the Institute of Health Computing by recommending the approval to lease office space at Pike and Rose while we put together the financing for a permanent facility at the North Bethesda Metro Center. I appreciate the committee's support, and I look forward to a positive vote from the Board of Regents on the 22nd, and then we'll formally celebrate. This Institute for Health Computing has already created quite a buzz among life science companies. When I was in Taiwan with their technology businesses and leaders, they were very interested in what we were trying to create in North Bethesda. The Institute of Health Computing is key to take our region's life science cluster from being number 3 to being number 1 in this nation. This project isn't just good for Montgomery County, it's good for the entire state of Maryland. And I look forward to continuing our conversation with Governor Moore's administration and our General Assembly leaders about state investment needed during the General Assembly session. And I look forward to updating you as this project progresses. This week I conducted a ride-along with MCPD police officers. While it was a relatively quiet night in downtown Silver Spring, the time I got to talk with the officers was incredibly valuable. I got to hear about the challenges that officers are facing with staffing. They have expectations to work overtime every week, and often shifts are minimally staffed. I also heard about geographic size of beats and matched against the number of officers that are available. When they're out with minimal staffing, they are stretched thin, and you can see it when you're with them. These are all issues that I sometimes hear about in meetings, but rarely directly from the employees that are actually doing the work. These staffing concerns I heard from the officers reinforce the decisions we made in bonuses, pay, and expanded recruitment efforts. We have more proposals coming that can increase the size of our force back to where it's supposed to be. The officers also had a chance to hear some of my concerns and answer questions about what they're dealing with and offer suggestions about what we can do and should do differently. I know that some of what they heard from me is in some ways different from their perceptions of me and what they expected. This ride-along is why a direct dialogue with our front-facing staff is valuable. Dialogue helps inform how we continue to improve, and I saw good, dedicated officers doing difficult work. I appreciate the officers' willingness to talk frankly with me. It was very helpful for me to see, hear, and experience what our officers are encountering when they're out there on our streets. I always learn a lot from engaging and talking to our county employees about their on-the-job experiences, and it's very helpful in my decision-making process. It was only a few weeks ago that our fiscal 24 budget went into effect. Now it's time for us to begin to focus on fiscal year 25 capital and operating budget processes. Our budget not only reflects the county's needs and concerns, but also our community's values and goals. Our first community conversation was this week at the Mid-County Community Recreation Center in Lay Hill. I appreciate those who attended this week's meeting and the issues, concerns, and budget priorities they brought to our attention. This year, we have an increased number of budget forums. We're going from 8 to 10. This includes budget conversations in Spanish that will be held next Thursday. In Wheaton, we also will be able to hold conversations in Chinese and Amharic, as well as forums specifically for our seniors, as well as the county PTA groups later this fall. We hold these community conversations to give people a chance to be heard because their voices matter. The ideas and feedback we hear during these discussions will drive our decisions for the next fiscal year. The budget process is very nuanced, and quite often final decisions come down to arguments, advocacy, activism of those who are supporting specific requests and need. I encourage you to participate in these conversations because your voice shapes our path forward. So that's it for this week, and thanks again for tuning in. See you again next week.